That's the east. Right there. Mm. Shabbat. No, not Shabbat. What am I talking about? Right? It's a regular Shalom. It's a plain old Shalom. Shalom, everybody. In the new body, in the old body, in the body, in the bati. Yashariah, Shalom. You got work, man. Dallas is coming through. Shout out to Dallas, man. Shout out to Texas, period. You know, I love Texas so much. Y'all was the first ones to respond, right? I was making this music over here, and it didn't have much traction. I could look forward to about 300 views per track at this time. But when it exploded, it was Texas. When I saw them big numbers and people start reaching out personally with their testimonies and things, they were from Texas. And I noticed, like, man, it's so much Texas, Texas, Texas. You know, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Austin. You know what I'm saying? All praises to the Most High. You know, but yeah, I just, I'm not on the internet a lot. I pass through. I get a minute somewhere. I'm waiting for something or something. I'm sitting somewhere and I'll pop in. But I've been in and out. I'm not in there long. I usually say what I need to say and then I get out of there. You know, so I'm in there few minutes of time. Multiple times yesterday. And I'm reading y'all. I don't always respond, but I'm reading y'all, And a lot of y'all don't know. You don't know what's going on. You don't know me, right? And I know how strong it is because it's a lot of y'all that you even know me. You know me. And you're still in a fog, right? By what the elder got going and whatnot, you know? And that's just how much we love him and we want to believe him. You know what I mean? And believe him. Believe him. I want you to. If only you knew to the extent that I am protecting the church. I care about the sheep, okay? I don't want to hit your shepherd in the head. Now it's sheep running crazy everywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's the last thing I want. Okay. What happened in 2018? I haven't disclosed it yet. I haven't the least bit, I haven't hinted at it. Okay. I'm protecting the church too. This ain't no fight. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, right? You don't know me, right? I'm humble to a fault, okay? I suffer a lot, right? I don't fight back, okay? The Most High fights for me, right? If you heard something I said and you thought it was disrespectful, I'm building a path, right? And if something's in my path, I'm moving it. You know, I'm building my path, right? Through a bunch of junk, right? Because what I need to get to is on the other side of the junk So I'm just building my path, right? That's not what you see him doing. He is trying to take my head off, okay? He's trying to take my head off. He's giving it everything he got, and I ain't even fired back yet, and I'm not gonna, right? Because I understand the Most High. I know the Most High, and whoever he's able to keep for himself, they were meant to be there, right? The Most High don't want everybody. He don't want everybody. That's why he makes things so hard. He makes it so hard for us to hear, right? And he sends his spirit to who he wants to hear and who he wants to wake up and who he wants to feel away and who he wants their eyes to see, right? Blessed are your eyes for they see and your ears for they hear. He don't want that for everybody, man. So he makes it hard. Somebody will look at this and say, I don't like that thing he has on his head. And you know what kind of shallow heart that is to look at that and leave because of that? He's not choosing everybody. Everybody is not chosen, right? There's a whole bunch of called. There's only a few chosen, right? If you're looking at this and you hate the words that are coming out of my mouth and you hate the sound of my voice, okay? This is the sound of a voice that's back from the dead, right? With the mission from the Most High. Nobody understands that. Everybody keeps speaking like, oh, it's a fight going on and it blah blah and weighing it out. Oh, bronze is this and that. Bronze is, what about bronze and calling out my faults and calling out, you know what I mean? You guys don't understand that this ain't no fight. I ain't fought yet. I ain't attacked yet. Right? And I'm not gonna. Right? He didn't give me no revelation of 2018. He didn't tell me to disclose that to you yet. But if I do, okay? If I do, all right? Because y'all know how I was. He's even over there saying that. I'm loosely affiliated and I was this and that. And I wasn't really with the church. And you know what I'm saying? That's crazy, right? All of the enemies, ask the enemies, right? Ask the enemies how loyal I am, okay? How I done defended this man for a whole bunch of years, right? Messed up threw a whole bunch of my personal relationships in the trash, just like y'all, right? Just like you have. The same way you throwing me in the trash, the same way you can't even hear a message, you know what I'm saying? That's, directly for you, back from the dead. That's how strong this man's influence is, right? That strong delusion, right? It's not just a delusion, it's a strong delusion, okay? And that's okay. That's okay. You know, maintain that, right? If your faith, that's what love is too. Love don't care what else is out there. I love this thing. I don't care if something is better over there. I love this. I'm fine if all I ever have is this. That's love, and I understand love, and I don't go against love. Nowhere love is at, am I going against it, right? They wouldn't be able to call me a heretic if it wasn't for love, because I left and I went back because I can't hear somebody cry to me and stick my nose up, act like I don't hear that. I'm empathetic. I can't hear that. I can't hear somebody hurt. I'm going to do what I can to stop your hurt automatically, right? It don't matter if you just try to stab me. You know what I'm saying? You know, because there's no fear in love. Love is not afraid, right? You know, love is not weak. Love is the strongest thing. Love is stronger than this other stuff, right? The other stuff is immature and childish and weak, right? Oh, I got the opportunity now. Let me get my dagger. Bang! You know what I'm saying? Nah, that's weak. Love is, I know you just tried to stab me and all of this and that, but blah blah. We'll talk about that later. Right now, you need help. So let's preserve you, get you back going right, and then we'll talk about the rest. Maybe you pick up another dagger, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not. Maybe this kills me, right? If you die in a charitable act, you're going straight into the electric blue, right? Or Enoch speaks of it too. I found it, y'all. I found it. My wife found it, actually. It's crazy. He's calling it sapphire blue, right? But yeah, it's deep, y'all. But I ain't fought yet. I'm not defending myself or anything. I'm only saying what's necessary for me to clear my path. We're gonna build these vineyards. We're gonna eat better. We're gonna do that, right? And if somebody is hurt, right, got booted out of the church, in a cold way, and they out there on the fence getting ready to go to the world and all of that, the Most High sent somebody after them, right? They've been praying, Father, please. I'm slipping, you know. I'm watching Empire again, you know. I had a bottle of Hennessy last week, Father. Please help me. I'm losing. I'm falling weak, Father. You know, I hung out with such and such, the bad influence that I used to hang around with when I was in the world, because this church done excommunicated me. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even really do nothing. You know what I'm saying? These people are praying. You thought he was just gonna let them people just pray like that? You didn't think he was gonna send nothing for them, huh? And it's a lot of people doing this. It's a lot of broken families, you know? It's people who broke up with a baby father, right? And went and built a 6, 7, 8 year relationship and had more kids and all of that. And they done told these people that they got to break up and go back to their exes, you know? And they really don't want to break up and they sad and hurt, you know? Now all of the kids are confused, you know? You had new kids that never seen nothing but their mama and daddy be together, right? And then you got these kids from the older relationship. They older now, they teenagers and all of that. You know what I'm saying? They done seen mom and dad fighting, you know. They done seen dad walk away. They don't trust dad no more. They don't know how innocent dad was in the incident and all of that. You know, they don't know that mom just got on some stuff, or maybe it was dad got on some stuff, you know. But they have already learned how to adapt in the world without seeing their parents being together, right? They would have been all right. You know what I'm saying? But now we done ruined the new children, you know. Now they devastated, right? And we don't know how they gonna take it. You know, we don't know how they gonna grow up now, seeing their parents be apart, you know, and that ain't right. That ain't right, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And nobody should be deciding that for us. You know, I give advice on those kind of things, but the decision is yours. And I make sure people always understand that, you know, go where your heart wants to go. And if your heart should learn that it made a mistake, change your mind at that point, right? But I'm not gonna tell you right here, right now, what you need to do. Nah, you know, because I know how that is. And whatever outcome uh transpires from that, they will always blame you and hate you Why would you want to put yourself in a seat like that where they hate you for the rest of their life and they blame their messed up life on you? Never, never would I. You know, now I talk about things like that, right? I talk about things like this. I talk about, situations like that, But the main thing, hey, why you cussing in here, brother? Watch your mouth, Ronald, right? We don't do the WTF and all of that. Come on, man. You don't even belong here. You shouldn't be talking, bro, because that's the spirit that's on you, right? I forgive you, brother. I can dig it, man. Yeah, I'm just listen, go back through these videos, y'all. But if you don't want to be confused, if you're here from the GOCC, first of all, he told y'all not to be over here. You shouldn't even be over here. If you're not free, you shouldn't be here. Don't watch this because I don't want to confuse you, right? Nah. Why are you with GOCC, brother Ronald? Because if you are and your heart is with the church, and that's why I won't call us nothing. So that when I say the church, I'm talking about the church, right? I don't want to confuse nobody. I don't want to scatter the flock. I don't want to do that. Oh, what's GOCC? All praises. Go back through all the lives, brother. Start at the one with the matches and just work your way up. And you won't have no questions by the time you get here. Unless you are looking, unless you got the elderberry, the elderberry syndrome on you, unless you're drinking that elderberry, you know what I'm saying? And that's gonna it's gonna confuse your mind, and you hearing what I have one story from 2008 and forward to this point. I have one story, okay? I have not contradicted myself or any of that. But if you're listening for that, you're going to hear things, right? If you're torn between me and the elder and you're trying to, you know what I mean, look for a reason to write me off and, oh, I'm just going to stay where I'm comfortable and all of that, you're going to hear things, okay? And shout out to y'all who are thinking I got the calls and I'm saying I didn't get the calls and I'm contradicting myself here and there. I'm saying I didn't get the calls. I'm saying I got the call. I did not get the calls, okay? But I have a call log. I can see when calls came through. I can see when texts was supposed to come through, okay? I'm not even defending myself, okay? How long did it take me to say that? I didn't go right back live. Oh, you confusing this part. Nah. If I think of it while I'm sitting here, I'm gonna bring that up, But even it's a lot of things that I don't bring up. Think what you want, right? I'm not fighting for souls. That's another thing. The souls that belong to me already belong to me, right? And none can pluck them out of the Christ's hand because you can't pluck them out of the Father's hand. That's why. And me falling up under that, neither can you pluck them out of mine. Okay. I only want the souls that are assigned to my soul, right? He said, before the womb, I knew you and ordained you a what? A prophet unto the nations, right? We all have the souls attached to us already, right? Who are supposed to hear our words, you know? And that scares me worse. Oh, that scares me, man. That scares me. You know, when you can't hear and when you look at me and I look wicked, right? Because I don't have a bone like that in my body. I keep telling y'all I don't mean nobody no harm. I keep telling y'all that I didn't leave the church because I hate it. I don't hate the church. I don't hate the elder. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to hurt the elder. I'm not even fighting with the elder. Okay. I'm not doing none of that. But he's doing that to me. And it's gotten so bad that he's lying over there, y'all. You know, his first few words out of his mouth, I'm like, okay, he really believed I was doing something bad over here. You know, I was trying to steal your land and trying to work through the church. And you know what I'm saying? No, I left the church. I left the church, right? I have something that I have to do, you know, and I left the church under that guise and they begged me back, right? And they said, just do what you got to do, you know? And I said, okay, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And then I start talking to y'all. I didn't care if you was in the church or not. I'm talking to everybody, right? Who wants to eat healthy. You know what I'm saying? They told me that this was okay to do. They told me, go say whatever. I said, but I might say something. And I told them, hey, I can't remember everything right now, but I might say something in the future. He said, well, go ahead and say it. You know, we trust you. We behind you. Go ahead and say what you got to say. You know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. When you say something that we ain't with it, we'll talk about that, you know? And that's why I've been telling y'all that, hey, when we run into something that becomes a problem for the church, y'all know what I have to do. Y'all know what's going to happen at that point. What's going to happen? I'm going to break off from the church and keep on going. But if you love me that much and you don't want to see me go that bad, okay, I will stay with you. But I'm still going to do what I got to do, right? And now I'm seeing why. Because they needed a reason to out me, right? They needed a reason to say that I'm some type of a bad guy or heretic, or I've been trying to do all of this and that. And it's like the people who they're talking to, they have no idea, or I've been saying it, but their ears are closed, I guess. They can't hear the story, right? They shouldn't be saying anything to me, right? And I could be saying other things that'll even throw my leadership under the bus. I don't want to do that, right? I don't want elder mad at them, you know? I don't want anybody mad at anybody, whether I'm involved or not, right? That's called blameless, right? And we should know that. We don't know what blameless is, right? What are we teaching if we don't know blameless, right? But we're going to go into that. Don't worry. See, now we can get all of this. I've been wanting to teach y'all blameless since 2014, 15. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know what blameless is. We don't know. Oh, man, come on, man. We're going to go into it. Y'all don't let me forget that. Don't let me forget this. You know, if I take too long with that, say, hey, what's up with blameless, Bronze? We need to get that. You know, I'm blameless in the equation, but we can't see that. I'm guilty. I'm trying to hurt the elder. I'm trying to do, I haven't done nothing but what the Father told me to do. Okay. He didn't tell me to come back here and wrestle with flesh and blood. He didn't tell me to come back here and do that. But I bet you that spirit realm is, you know, the righteous is rejoicing over there, and the wicked is hurt, you know. And man, this thing was so flammable. This thing was so flammable, y'all. Soon as I broke a loose and started talking, you don't know how they came out the woodworks. Okay? You don't know how many was waiting. Okay? You don't know how many sat out unaffiliated with anybody for years because they knew this. They knew this day before I knew it. I didn't know it. Right? And that's how I know this thing is of the Most High, because I'm not the only person that he spoke to, right? and everybody who don't believe in me, okay? And don't believe that I can do this, and don't believe that this is of the Most High, and looking at me as an amateur and all of this type of things like this. Boy, if you knew how your church was started, okay? If you knew the condition people was in when yours got kicked off, I'm a long shot from that, okay? My name good out there, all right? And that's a cold thing, because you have people destroying that. So when that happens and you have somebody who are persuaded, right, in another direction to dislike somebody, right, for false reasons and all of that, mm, 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 right, sowing discord among brethren, I'm telling you, you can't do that without all of those attributes. Those 7 things that the Most High hate the worst. Let's go into it. Oh my goodness. I ain't gonna do that. Nah, I'm not gonna do it, y'all. Because I thought that was neutral in the moment, and I was finna go there and break that down. But I mean, you might see that too clearly, so I'm not gonna do it. And I'm not going to expound on that. And you guys know what that passage says. But if I break that down and I put my commentary on that and I tie everything together for you according to that passage, it wouldn't be good. Mm-mm. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt nobody right now. I don't want to defend. I'm getting beat up. I'm getting rocked, right? But I'm not going to swing back. I may duck here and there. I may duck a few things. You know, I might hit them with the neo every now and again, you know what I'm saying? You know, but I ain't got in there, you know what I'm saying? I ain't try to gut nobody yet or nothing like that. And I'm not gonna because I don't need to. And I'm not under any stress over here, right? I know what I have to do and it's getting done. And the Most High been on my back, y'all, since 2018. Okay, for 7 years. I feel my father, I feel his soul, right? And I know when something's wrong with him. I know when he don't like something. And I knew that before I even had my incident, you know? I know when he don't like something, but he's happy, right? He let me know that he's happy, right? The thing that was bothering him, it's not bothering him anymore, right? And that's because y'all prayers. While I'm fooling around at the gathering of Christ Church, y'all out there hurting everywhere and feeling bad and feeling thrown away. And you know what I'm saying? This didn't work right. That didn't work right. You know what I'm saying? So much going on out there, man. And it is now getting tended to. All praises to the Most High, right? And we're loving people, man. We don't want to fight, you know. Stop fighting y'all battles out there, y'all. You know, and watch him work. You know, you want to see his power? Let him fight it, right? He said, I shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace, right? Hold your peace and watch him work, you know, and tell him to let him down easy. Beseech him, which it beseeches to beg. Beg the Father, beg him to go easy on them. Only do what you need to do for them to see. Please, Father. and he hears that, that's good counsel with him. Right? You know how you can have somebody talking in your ear and it sound crazy, and you're like, you know, that ain't what he's doing when you're speaking, forgiveness, right? And especially when you're speaking it about somebody who have wronged you. I'm trying to show y'all how to get the one who created this heaven and this earth and all of this. I'm trying to show y'all how to get him on your side, okay? Not no man, you know? And he controls everything, y'all. He controls what mood you're in, right? If you be feeling funky and things like that, certain days you be in bad moods, you know what I mean? When the Father is pleased with you, you will not feel that, right? Matter of fact, any displeasure, he's either growing you or he wants you to get on the things that will cause you to grow, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just want y'all to know that, I am not fighting y'all. I ain't saying nothing, right? But I could, you know. I haven't swung back yet, right? And I pray that I never do, y'all. I don't want to, you know. I don't want to, So stop talking like this is a fight, okay? Nah, it ain't no fight. I'm just getting hopped on. You see it, but yeah, it's all about what you believe, right? If you're cleaning up because of what you believe, even if it's false, I'm going to let you keep believing that. One day you'll be there in the mind where you can hear the truth and it won't affect you because you're so far along, and you have the knowledge of the holy, right? Which is understanding, right? You know what you got to do going forward, remaining holy, you know. You have the knowledge that can only come from being holy and set apart and keeping the law and doing the gospel, right? You have this and you understand the earth and the heaven, right? That's what Israel means. It means to have power with God and with men. So what is that? We are the glue, right? We are the men. These men you see with this skin like this and with this hair like this, you know what I'm saying? And with this gold tint in the skin, I don't care how light or dark he is, you're gonna see gold in it, you know? And that's how the Southern Kingdom look, That's how we look. The Africans, they got that, it's not a gold tint in the skin. It's another type of a tint. It'd be blue and purple and all kind of other stuff, right? It'd be a dark brown, it'd be straight up brown. They don't have that brass, right? They don't have that burned brass up in there. You know what I'm saying? That's the Israelite right there, you know. And then we also got like the East Indians and people like that. They have a different tint. That's not gold either, right? But you know, us with this, you see how that sun is hitting it and it's turning me gold? That's brass, right? That's Christ right there, okay? Right? That's that bronze right there, okay? But yeah, we join the heavens and the earth, right? We bring it together, right? And that's what it means to be Israel, you know what I'm saying? Genesis 32. If I'm not mistaken. Genesis 32, if you need to see, I'm the real seed of Jacob. That's who I be, huh? According to your world, I'm the lowest of low. But according to a higher, I'm as high as it go. All right. But yeah. And that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing the Most High and that realm together with the earth, you know, and it's a big deal, you know, to the extent that we were able to do that. And Elder Ricard was chosen to do a lot, man. You know, I was confused, right? I was I was all over the place, I was a Christian that found out I was an Israelite, but I was listening to Farrakhan because I like what he was saying about the community, you know. So I might have had a little bit of a Muslim streak in me, you know what I'm saying? But when I found the GOCC, he put it all together like a sandwich. I had the bread over here, I had the meat over there, you know what I'm saying? I had the cheese and the, you know what I mean? Elder Ricard made a sandwich out of it, right? And I love that man for that, right? And I never would have been anywhere else, but what can you do? He didn't want nothing to do with me. And I didn't find that out until I met him. And when I met him, I knew that okay, and then I spent the next, years after that trying to cool him off and trying to, maybe he'll see, maybe if I just, and I would have done that forever. I would have done that until I died. Okay. I was all right. I had all of you. You was dampening it, you know, making it a blessed thing for me. I would have did that forever, but the Most High called me out of that. When I was ready, he called me out of it. And he was like, listen, that's cool. But listen, I got something else that I have you doing, right? You could talk to me about anything. Sweet Tea 38. Hit that Plant Vineyards 144 at Gmail, right? And you know, if it's something that should be private, take it over there. But if it's something shallow or something, you can let it fly right here. I'm looking at the chat. I'm gonna jump over there with y'all in a minute and see what y'all talking about in the chat. I used to listen to GOCC a long time ago. Yikes. A long time ago. Where you been since then? How are you seeing this? Family, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Small Levi, all praises. What you been doing, sis, since you stepped away from the church? But men don't know, y'all. Men don't know. Everybody mad, the leadership is mad. The body is mad. And this is a perfect example of how you can fight against the Most High and not even know it, And that's why 1 Corinthians chapter 13 says, believe all things. Believe all things. Give everything space to be what it is, right? Because you might not know. Believe all things, right? And I'll just be sitting there waiting. Every time somebody is reading that, you know, when they go through that, beareth all things, believeth all things, you know what I mean? I was like, and they never go into the commentary of that part. Everybody blows over that, right? Believe all things, right? We don't know. Repeat what? Sweet tea, what part you didn't get? Because I know this thing be tripping. I'm out here and it be glitching and I be going like a robot and all that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm far, y'all. I am out here. I almost got in the camp, but the Most High didn't allow it. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know where you at. The camp and the church, it's good for a lot of us. It's a good place to go grow, and go get a good idea of all of this. Shalom, Mark Fred. We got to get up, brother. I need to talk to you on the phone. I do that. I do the phone. We can do the phone. You know, leave your number at plantvineyards144 at gmail.com. Right? I see our is hurt behind this. And that's another thing that y'all are saying that I'm hurt. I'm not hurt, y'all. Hey, what are you doing? Get out of my screen, dude. But yeah, I'm not hurt, y'all. I am not hurt. I'm all right. I'm fine. You know, I'm not hurt at all. Right? That's what I'm not. You know, uh, I mean, I've had 7 years. The elder that you guys are seeing right now, it's a lot of y'all sad because he showed himself in a way that he never has, right? And you know, it broke a lot of people down, to see him act how he act, the way he acted in this. And they could clearly see that, it's overkill, you know. It's overkill, the way I mean, I'm already dead and crushed. The people that you're gonna keep, they already believe you. I'm dead and he's still just stomping my head. He keep coming back and coming back, going live again. He's going live and freestyling. Then he's going live and he has a lesson. He got all these drawn out scriptures, right? And then all of his leadership is on it, and it's crazy. And you know, there was a time where I said, okay, maybe he's just getting the wrong information and all of this. Maybe he don't know. I know that he gets his information a lot from somebody else and they be misconstrued, and then he'll add his tidbits to it, and then he could come out with something far-fetched like that. But I knew it even got beyond that to where he was totally making stuff up and lying. And then I went in there, I went into the call, he weaseled me in there, man. He put something together, cause Brunity and they officers and stuff. So, you know, he called a meeting with them, and then in the last minute, he said, send Bronze the link too, you know. And they came to me, man, with a heavy heart and just, please, brother, just talk to him, just hear him out. I'm like, all right, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just listen to him. And and that's when he had taken the video down, and what he was doing, he took that video down so he could come back harder, right? And he could try to get something else on me. That's why he took that video down. But he took the video down, and he called a meeting with them, and at the last minute he said, yeah, send Bronze the link too. So they came, and I said, okay. When I hear it in their voice and I know that they're sincere, and it had nothing to do with him, it had nothing to do with me. My brother is asking me to do something that's going to help him, right? So I went, okay, I'll chime in. And then we chime in, and then he comes on and he starts setting up his pieces. He got Elder Gaja. He got the guy who y'all seen come in here. What's the name? Hassan Buford. He's in there, right? Uh, all of that whole panel of elders is in there. Elder Gaja, who we been tight, right? He got, you know, Elder Gaja is on something like he don't know who I am. I feel the distance when I'm in there, so you know, yeah, I know I'm enemy number one in there. You know what I'm saying? Elder Ramar is in there, and all of this, and they talking about they smell weed on me and all. But they did this after I was gone. That's foul too. When a man is gone, you quit. You know, but yeah, they went in on me. When I wasn't there, and told that to other brothers. They ain't supposed to be doing that by scripture. They kept talking about me like I was there, and while I wasn't there to defend myself. They just kept on going, But yeah, I heard it. He was setting them up, and he said, "Oh, we're gonna do this precise, and it ain't gonna be no side talk and this and you're not gonna play games, with your speech and all of that. It's gonna be precise. We're gonna be this and that, you know." And then the first witness he pulls, Elder Gaja, he starts talking, and he said, "You seen the post, right, Elder Gaja?" "Yeah, I seen the post." "What did that post say from Bronze?" "It said that he was getting ready to leave the church or something like that, or that he was leaving the church, or he was getting ready, or you know what I'm saying? I forgot how he worded it, but it sounded like I was on the fence about leaving the church." And I jumped in. I'm like, "Nope, that's not what it said." Because y'all know what it said. It said, "I am no longer a member of the Gathering of Christ Church." I didn't try to leave. I wasn't on the fence. I left. Okay. And I jumped in there and I caught that. I said, "No, that's not what it said." And soon as I open my mouth, Elder Ricard loses his mind. "Hey, well, if you know what I mean?" And as soon as he did that, I just said, "Oop." You know what I'm saying? I'm not dealing with none of that. No. And you just said it's going to be precise, and that's what he was going to do. There's going to be nothing but yes or no answers. That's what he said. So see, and he told Elder Gaja, "No, it doesn't have to be it don't have to be verbatim. It does have to be verbatim." That's not what I said. "What do you mean it don't have to be verbatim?" "Yes, it does. Watch." And I bet you how you gonna hold the video for? "Well, I'm gonna play that next week," right? And I don't watch this is what you guys are telling me, right? I don't watch that stuff. I popped in there once or twice for 2 or 3 minutes at a time and heard what he was saying and heard the actual lies that was coming out of his mouth, right? I've checked that out, for a moment, but I haven't sat down and watched the whole things, right? But I heard that he said he's going to produce the video next week, right? And if I'm wrong, y'all let me know, right? Because whatever he's got going on over there, it's not good for my spirit, y'all, you know? But I heard enough. When I heard that, because I trusted him to a point to not blatantly lie, I would hope he wouldn't blatantly lie, but that's what he was doing in a couple of moments that I tuned in. I said, "Oh, okay, he trying, okay." So he done severed himself from the Most High for this church and these people, right? And that's basically what it is, And that's what's been getting fed to me, y'all. It's a lot going on, right? It's a lot going on, y'all. And it doesn't end well. You can't do the Most High like that, right? And call your church his church and all of that, and ignore his voice, right? If the Most High was really with you, then you would know who I am, right? Now I feel Christ when he was saying that, Nah, there's something in the way. Who's in the way? There's only one other person who could be in the way. That's the devil, right? That's who's in the way, right? The deceiver, the adversary, right? What does the adversary do? He wants to change your mind, right? He wants to muddy the waters and screw up what the truth is and have you out here moving falsely, on some things that ain't even the truth, and that spreads, It got Elder Ricard first, and when he let it start flying out his mouth, it happened to half of the church, right? But And now you see why it's only going to be a remnant that make it, right? And even in that church right now, it's a very small amount of people with pure hearts and that stand out the way and that stand because of love, like I was, you know what I'm saying? And all of these types of things, you know what I'm saying? But none can be plucked out of Christ's hand and definitely not his father's hand, right? So you're gonna see the world go crazy, right? And when the world goes crazy, whatever extent it spills into this truth, then you know that that part of this truth was of the world, right? You know, and what does it say? The love of many shall wax cold, right? So if you keep your love intact, right, the same shall be saved. Ain't that what it says? The love of many shall wax cold. It's telling you right there. Ooh, let's go to that. Hold on. That's Matthew 24, right? It's Matthew 24, 13. All right. Matthew 12, Matthew 24 and 12 through 13. It's telling you who's going to make it, right? If y'all want to get there too, you can. Matthew 24 and 12 through 13, it says, and because iniquity shall abound, right? So we know what iniquity is. That's sinning, even though you know it's a sin. You know, that's willful sinning, right? Iniquity. Because this shall abound, rise up, spring up, go crazy everywhere, right? People sinning. So these are people who know the law. These are people who have probably been keeping the law and all of that, right? They're going to go to the left, right? And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many, right? That electric blue, or according to Enoch, that sapphire blue, right? The love of many shall wax cold, right? So their love is cold. It's going to turn into hate, right? And that's one side of the coin. And then it's going to flip the coin for us and tell us what's going to happen on the other side. But he that shall endure unto the end, what's going to happen to them? The same shall be saved, right? So how do you endure to the end? You don't let your love wax cold, right? How many of you been looking at that and thinking, oh, I got to endure to the end? That means I got to keep all of this, everything I know intact. No, all you got to keep intact is that love. That's it. That's how you endure to the end. When the end comes and your love ain't wax cold, you going straight into that realm. Okay? Now imagine how many people, and it was a lot of y'all, right? That the only way you could receive Brother Bronze is if he was okay with Elder Ricard, right? Now Elder Ricard done you got on what he on, and now you hate Brother Bronze. Let's line them up. How many hundreds of y'all is that, right? You know, let's line that up, man. Mm-mm-mm. Make not friends with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou become like him and get a snare unto thy soul. Right? So stay there, but don't hate me. You don't got to turn against me to stay there. You don't have to grow something in your heart to stay with your church. I stayed. I came back. I let them talk me back, for the setup. Why? Because love is not afraid, right? There is no fear in love. Love cast out fear, right? I wasn't scared when I went back. I knew they might have been up to something. right? I knew I might have been in the dark on something because I never seen that. You seeing something different, brother? Get out of here. Nah, come back, brother Bronze. Nah, don't leave us like that. You ain't gotta go nowhere. You ain't gotta do. Yeah, you could do that with the church. Now I'm a heretic, right? Now I'm getting outed day after day after day. He putting them up, he taking them down, he putting them back up, he doing another one, he pulling out the scriptures, he doing it without the scriptures, and then he put, you know what I'm saying? He doing another lesson, but wait a minute, let me go on here and talk about Browns for a minute, right? All of this stuff I try to avoid. Why? Because it has split the church, and it still kind of has, right? If hey, everything is fine, I'm leaving the Gathering of Christ Church. And then I go that way and I do my thing. And then we got the church going that way, doing their thing. And people in the church is looking over there saying, hey, what Brian's got going on over there? You know, that's what he's trying to stop. And guess what? I'm trying to stop that too. Don't do that. Stay with the Gathering of Christ Church. Don't try to come over here, right? Stay there. Stay with your family there. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of love over there. I know that. Okay? Stay there. Tune in with your brother, right? That blue ball, that electric blue, it's still in you. Okay? And mine's is here and they're connected, right? And when I went in there, all of them beings, man, I know who they were. You know, there were all the prophets. There were all the people who died hard deaths, you know, with love in their heart, who maintained. They were lovers, right? They were the people who the song for the lover would resonate with. You know what I'm saying? That's who was there, right? Martin Luther King was probably there. He was, you know what I mean? Everybody was in that realm, you know, the love realm, the Christ realm, right? The First Corinthians 13 realm. You know what I'm saying? That's who was there. And we got some of that in the Gathering of Christ Church. Don't let nobody ruin that for you. Maintain that. Maintain your love for me because I'm maintaining my love for you. It don't matter where we are. There's only one love. I keep saying that. There's only one love. There's not two loves. There's only one, right? And I'm gonna do that too. The one teaching, right? And that's what the I is. That's what God is, right? That's the I. That's his name, okay? The one, okay? The only, right? You know what number two is? You don't want number two, right? The first one to see something different than that. We know who he is, right? Mm-mm. We don't want to deal with him. We don't want nothing to do with him. But I'm not fighting y'all, and y'all don't have to worry, right? And it's cold because he doing it to himself anyway. As much as I'm trying to help, try to preserve him, and you know, and he kind of letting me down too, you know, because he losing it, he going off, you know, he is flipping, right? And it's looking childish to people who are more mature than that, right? And they like, come on, elder. And it's a horrible thing for them to see, you know, and they fighting in their heart, you know. But I believe I have some souls, you know, and the ones that belong to me, right? You know, we were all born, you know, I was born to appeal to you and you to me and us connect and be inseparable, you know, and we know who those are, you know, and a lot of y'all came into the church by that music, you know, and I seen a lot of that, you know, because nobody else can get their love unless it's okay. with him. You know, they can't just give you your propers. They got to look at him first and say, "Hey, is it okay if I, you know?" And that's what he does with his endorsing. You know, he did full music shows. Is it going to bring me up? And then the callers came in the end like, "Hey man, what's up with bronze?" You know, you know, you ain't supporting me, brother. You know, nah, you didn't support me, man. You know, that's not the truth. Okay. And if the church made me, make another one. Make another Brother Bronze, okay? All the whole church, y'all jump behind somebody else so you can get off of that with me, right? Because you did not make me, okay? How many people you got in your church, right? How many souls is in that church, right? At the time where my videos got in the millions, okay? How many people do you have in that church, right? I ain't gonna put no number on you, but it ain't a million. I wouldn't give it 100,000, right? Nah, you didn't make me, bro. You didn't make me, okay? We don't have enough souls in the GOCC to make me, you know. It spread it. It spread it beyond the church. It spread it beyond the Hebrew community, okay? And a lot of those people that it reached are in this truth with us right now because of it, you know. But that's another thing, you know. You downplay the Holy Spirit, not me. You downplay Christ, not me. That's why speak evil of no man, right? I will never comment at all of the baptized souls, you know, that went in that water, and all of the people that would probably be robbing you right now that are a part of the gathering of Christ Church, right? I would never, you know, try to bring you down and send them lost, and it's because of them that he gets to do what he does, right? It's because of y'all, right? And I thought it was because of y'all that he took them videos down, right? And then he put them back. So see, it's not mutual. It's a hypocritical love, You know. Mm-mm. No, no, and that's sad. And that's sad, y'all. So I wish they would let me go this direction. I wish he would take all of those videos down and apologize, and repent and let me go my way, you know. That's what you guys see, you know. That's what y'all see. The bitterness of me breaking off. Let us be all right over here. I don't even want a huge church. I know this is going to be hard for a lot of people, you know. I know a lot of people are going to hear a lot of things. I know it's a lot of deceptions out there. It's a lot of things that are going to keep you from rocking over here. But, you know, I don't want no huge church, no thousands and thousands of people, right? Because we're a remnant, we're small. It's not a lot of us. It's not a lot of us, y'all. Few shall be saved, right? So why I need a billion people? Why I need a mega church? Nah, it's only a few of us. 10 people per congregation is all praises. Matter of fact, let's get into that, man. because we at 105 anyway. Let's get into this good news. San Antonio we have. Tap in, okay? Tap in. We're going. San Antonio. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tap in. We're going. Right? Y'all ready to link up there? Right? And hit the streets. Right? 2x2. Okay? Detroit. Link in. Right? Y'all ready to go? Louisiana. Link in. Ready to go. You know? My Ak, okay? A war. He's waiting for you. Okay? All praises. Johannesburg, South Africa. Link in. Okay. We're there. All right. All praises. We ready to go there. Right? Did I say Pete? Yeah, I said Petersburg already. You know? On the other end of Virginia, we need you. Right? So yeah, y'all link in. The 501c3s and the grants. Not this week, but next week on Tuesday. Okay? Me and Jerry, we're gonna go live. Right? So write down everything you want to know. If you need to get your plans together, if you don't know what kind of business you want to do, have all of that figured out, right? Because there's different conversation according to what you want to do and things like that. So have that kind of thing hammered out when you get there. You know, have your questionnaire, be ready to let them fly. You know, he ready to be there as long as we need to be there, right? Until we can get something nice established and get off, you know, and then the rest of y'all could keep on coming through how you come through. You know, I might even make it a thing that I do every now and again, you know, and just go to where he at and go live with him and things like this, right? Uh Donations, Plant Vineyards 144, right? $ Plant Vineyards 144, you know, if you want to throw a little something at us, you know, so that we can maneuver and, you know, do some things and, you know, you want to put some in our purse and bless us on our mission, you know what I'm saying? Uh, that would be appreciated, you know, a million, you know, can express it, you know, uh, if you want to do that, right? For any contact, any question you have, you know, for remedies, things like this, you know, what herb is for this and that, you know, I'm dealing with this, or, you know, or what food can I eat, you know, what, you know, whatever question you have, or if you have question about fellowshipping, we have questions about baptism, or, you know, whatever you got a question about, that's Plant Vineyards 144 at gmail.com. Link in there, right? Nothing is forced here. We ain't forcing nobody to do nothing. You will never be forced, right? You know, we free. We grown over here. We have, you know, space over here. You will never feel encroached on, okay? Or nothing like that, right? We ain't about that, you know? So, you know, us who, you know, ain't got no other affiliations and things like that, man, this is a beautiful thing for you, right? And this is what time this is, you know. And most important is love, y'all. Most important. Keep reading that chapter. 1 Corinthians 13, right? What I say in commandments of love, half dead. Deathbed, half dead. This a IV, revive me, right? And that's what it did, you know. That's a prophecy, basically, because I was on my deathbed, right? And that's what came and got me and sent me back, right? You know, deathbed, half dead. This a IV, revive me, and you too, right? If you apply it to the self, right? But you ignore it, and this is why you always upset. Mm. Man, right? That's the commandments of love, y'all. You know, first and foremost is love. It's all kind of things you can't feel with a heart that has love in it, you know. But yeah, let's shut it down. And man, I want to stay bad. I feel like I barely got here, but let's be moderate and tap in tomorrow. I don't wanna hold y'all for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours here and do all of that. Keep it quick and simple. This is like I just knocked the door and sat down for an hour and 10 minutes, and just chopped it up with you, and you know, and that's what needs to be resonated. Not always this book, you know, and all of these rules. We got that. You get, go to the academy and and do that. But we'll bring the book out. We gonna bring the book out. We love them scriptures, right? And we gonna bring it out, right? If it's something that we need the book to believe. I have it ready. I have the book. And I don't got no Bible right here nowhere. It's all right there, right? Y'all never forget what I did at Tabernacles, okay? You know, uh, but all praises to the Most High. I love y'all. I pray that the rest of your day is blessed, y'all. Right? Every thought you think, I want it to be. I want it to come true and serenade you for the rest of the day. Okay. Until we meet tomorrow, if it be the will of a higher, okay, of the ever mighty, the I. Okay. Right. And we're gonna tap in, y'all, and plant vineyards 144 at gmail.com. If you got something on your mind right now, leave it with me over there. And I tried my best for the first time last night. I didn't finish the emails, y'all. It was the first time it ever happened since I've been doing this. I don't care how late it keep me up. I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna answer everybody. But last night was the first time, right? It was too many of y'all, and y'all was coming in while I was looking at the ones I wasn't gonna finish. They were still coming. So all praises to the Most High, man. I feel sorry for anybody that's against that. That's against this love. That's against this feeling that I feel in my heart right now. For all of us. And for the Most High and for Christ. I feel it all intertwined. I feel where the Most High and Christ is there, and you are there, right? You know. So that's 114. We're gonna link in. We're gonna link in tomorrow, if it be the will of